One of the most satisfying things to watch in a romantic K-drama is when a character who has been denying their feelings finally starts showing cracks in their emotional armor. And that is exactly what's happening with Shin Seo Ri in My Royal Nemesis. For so long, Seo Ri has tried to act indifferent toward Cha Se Gye, convincing herself and everyone around her that he doesn't matter. But the moment another woman starts getting closer to him, everything changes. Suddenly, every piece of news about Cha Se Gye affects her mood, her reactions, and even her decisions. Today, let's talk about the 7 sentimental moments that prove Shin Seo Ri's feelings for Cha Se Gye are much deeper than she's willing to admit. 1. Her immediate reaction to the engagement news. The first major sign comes when Seo Ri reads the news about Cha Se Gye's rumored engagement to Mo Tae Hee. Instead of calmly accepting the information, she immediately becomes frustrated and starts taking out her emotions on whatever she's doing at the moment. What I find interesting is that people rarely react that strongly to someone they don't care about. Her anger wasn't really about the news itself. It was about the uncomfortable feelings the news forced her to face. 2. Refusing to accept they look perfect together. Things become even more revealing when Baek Gwang-nam casually mentions that Cha Se Gye and Mo Tae Hee seem like a perfect match. Most people would simply agree or move on, but Seo Ri instantly rejects the idea with obvious irritation. This moment may seem small, but it says a lot. Deep down, she doesn't want to imagine Cha Se Gye being happy with someone else. And honestly, that's one of the clearest signs of jealousy we've seen from her so far. 3. Defending her relationship with Cha Se Gye. Another emotional moment happens when her manager warns her not to get too close to Cha Se Gye because it could create a scandal. Surprisingly, instead of listening to the advice, Seo Ri becomes angry and pushes back. This reaction stood out to me because she usually tries to maintain control of situations. But when it comes to Cha Se Gye, logic suddenly takes a backseat to emotion. It's almost as if she's protecting a connection she doesn't want to lose. 4. Getting upset about the contract relationship. Later, Baek Gwang-nam explains that the relationship between Mo Tae Hee and Cha Se Gye is supposedly contractual and could even lead to a happy ending. You would think this information would reassure Seo Ri. Instead, it makes her even more upset. That's what makes this scene fascinating. The problem isn't whether the relationship is real or fake. The real problem is that Cha Se Gye is emotionally involved with someone who isn't her. 5. Taking her frustration out on others. As her emotions continue building, Seo Ri eventually directs her anger toward Baek Gwang-nam, who becomes an innocent victim of her frustration. We've all seen characters do this in dramas, and usually it happens when they're struggling to process their true feelings. Rather than admitting she's hurt, Seo Ri finds it easier to argue with the people around her. It's messy, but it's also incredibly human. 6. Her belief about love and marriage. One of the most revealing moments comes when Seo Ri insists that relationships built without love are meaningless and exist only for business purposes. On the surface, she's talking about Cha Se Gye and Mo Tae Hee. But if you listen carefully, it feels like she's actually expressing her own desires. She wants Cha Se Gye to experience genuine love. The question is whether she realizes that she wants to be the person giving him that love. 7. Constantly denying positive news. Finally, every time Seo Ri hears positive news about the engagement, she becomes emotional and immediately tries to deny it. This pattern keeps repeating throughout the story. The more she hears about them, the more defensive she becomes. In my opinion, denial is one of the strongest indicators that someone is falling in love. If she truly didn't care, none of these updates would affect her. But clearly, they do. What makes Shin Seo Ri's journey so compelling is that her feelings aren't revealed through dramatic confessions or grand romantic gestures. Instead, they're exposed through jealousy, frustration, denial, and emotional reactions she can't fully control. That's why her story feels realistic and relatable. Sometimes people don't realize they're in love until they see the possibility of losing someone. But now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 moments convinced you the most that Seo Ri has fallen for Cha Se Gye? And do you think she'll finally admit her feelings before it's too late? Let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear your theories.